on stress versus anxiety. Most people will experience stress, but not everyone will experience anxiety. Stress is when you're at home doing homework and you're racking your brain to figure out one problem and you cannot figure it out. Your brain is turning its wheels to figure it out what it is, but it just won't happen. So you sweep it across your whole table and you're done with it for the rest of the night. That's stress. Anxiety is a little bit above that, which we will get into later. What is stress? Stress can be the result of an external pressure. For an example, you could be trying out for the soccer team and you could be at maybe like the 30-yard line or maybe the 45-yard line, but you will always miss the goal every time. So the coach comes over to you and says, hey, if you're not able to make the goal by, let's say, the next practice or two, you won't be making the team, and that's a guarantee. So you go home to your homemade goal of net and sticks and practice for a very long time. You practice for maybe 2 hours a night, and the next practice isn't for 4 days. So you're there practicing kicking over and over and over again, but you still cannot hit that 30 or 45 mile or 45-yard mark. It's the reaction to the problem. So even if you're not hitting that goal, you will get mad. It's an agitation reaction. So maybe you will kick the ball over into the woods or something, or wherever you're practicing to purposely not make the goal. It's just your frustration lashing out. Like again, it's your body's way of dealing with the demanding or tough time. It's you kicking the ball and going somewhere else. And it's your body's fight or flight response. So you decided to go home and practice and practice and practice, but you're not able to make it. So then it's your body's flight response of saying, okay, I'm done. It's over with. All right, anxiety is the reaction to stress. So with that stress, you said you were done. But when you said you were done, that just said, hey, you are not on the soccer team. So you could be thinking about it maybe a year or even 2 later year and saying, hey, if I practice maybe like a half hour more or even 15 minutes more, I could have made that shot and impressed the coach. It can hang on a while after the problem is resolved. Like I said, it could be like a year after the practice and the coach said, okay, you're cut, you're done. But you're thinking in a classroom a year later saying, hey, I could have made it. And you just keep racking your brain instead of paying attention to the math class or whatever you're supposed to do. And it's needless worry. Like, it's done with, it's over, you didn't make it, you move on and try again next year. But since you didn't make it that 1 year, your self-esteem was low and you didn't try out those next year or two. And panic attacks, they can come every so often if you have anxiety. It's where you can't breathe and you're probably crying too, and it's just you aren't able to keep control of your body. All right, so you have symptoms of stress. You are easily agitated. Like I said, you are not able to hit the ball into the goal, and you've tried this with maybe 50 shots, so you just chuck the ball or kick the ball somewhere else, and it's feeling overwhelmed. You've been at it for about 2 hours now, and it's just, okay, I'm done. It's a lot of weight on your shoulders that you can't control, and you just go. And with that weight on your shoulders, it's very difficult to relax when you're inside. You're done with practice for now, but it's still that lingering thought of, I still can't make this shot. And then you have that low self-esteem. Like I said, if you're thinking about it right now and you're not making it, that'll make you not try out that next year or two, or maybe even 3. And you have that low energy. So now you didn't make it, you're not practicing anymore. That's your low energy, and it could help, or it could decrease your mood significantly. And you have headaches. So if you're used to like going out, exercising, you're eating healthy, or you're practicing every day, and you just automatically stop with that low self-esteem and low energy, that's a very significantly cross between what you're used to and what you're not used to. So then your brain's saying, hey, what's this? I'm not used to this. And you just automatically get headaches and aches and pains. And then you have insomnia. You get like maybe 2 hours of sleep at night, and it's starting at like 3 o'clock in the morning. You're not able to sleep, And it's all because of that one incident that could have been resolved with you practicing maybe 15 minutes more. Then you have the nervousness and shaking. Even when there's something not going on, you could just be sitting at home watching TV, you will always have that nervousness of something always happening and the anxiety or the shaking. All right, so you have the symptoms of anxiety. You have the excessive worrying. You could worry about something that happened, again, like a year or two earlier, you sitting in class and that soccer practice is still lingering inside your head. You have the agitation. You could lash out at maybe something minor and it could just be because of that soccer practice. And you have the restlessness. That's always like you always need to be moving, you can't stand still, and you're always going no matter what. Then you have fatigue. It's like headaches, but it's a little bit more almost towards a migraine, but that's just because of your anxiety about this. And maybe your anxiety is something covering a whole bunch of things, but that might just be because of that soccer practice that you're always thinking about. Then you have the concentration difficulty. So you're sitting in math class, you're trying to learn about the unit circle or whatever math does now, and you're just thinking about that soccer practice like, okay, if I could have made like a 45-degree angle, maybe a 30-degree angle, I could have made that shot. At least you're thinking about math. You have the irritability, and it's like it's irritating you day after day after day, and then soon after you're thinking about that, you're 5 years later into the future. You get tense muscles. I know people have woken up with like a neck sore, or your neck is sore, your back is sore, your legs are sore, but that might just be because you slept on it wrong that night and it's fixed the next morning. But with anxiety, it's all the time constant pain. It's because your muscles are so tense about that one thing that it just will not get over with. Then you will have the trouble sleeping. Like I said before, it's insomnia, that you will not sleep at all thinking about that one thing all the time. And then like I said before, you have your panic attacks. Then you avoid social situations that sometimes you will just decide to lay in bed and watch TV and eat chips all night instead of going out to a birthday party or something with your friends. Something that seems fun, but it actually doesn't seem fun to you, and I don't know, Stranger Things is much better. And then you have irrational fears. So let's say your friends are wanting to go bungee jumping, which is actually a fear of heights, which is normal, but you're afraid you're gonna step on a crack and when you're going there and the whole bridge is gonna fall. Like that wouldn't happen. Your friends aren't thinking about that, but you are. It's like those little irrational minor fears that you get in your head. All right, so what can stress do to a person? Having stress, you can overeat or you can undereat. Overeating is something to do with your emotions. It's your way of coping with something. Undereating is you're always dealing with something, so you forget to eat pretty much. Then you have your angry outbursts that set you over the edge because of something. And then you have drug or alcohol misuse, where you aren't even supposed to be drinking, or you are able to drink, but you don't do it in moderation, or you're just over the edge, done. And then you have tobacco use. Some people use smoking as a coping mechanism with their stress, and it's okay, but it's like, it has to be in moderation. Then you have the social withdrawal again, and then you have the exercising less often that I said before, that could be a result in headaches. It's just a chain reaction over time that each symptom can lead to another symptom. And anxiety, what can anxiety do to a person? Like I said before, you can have your panic attacks, headaches, irritability, but the one thing I did not mention is depression. So you're thinking about that soccer game that happened 2 years ago, and that's just like, okay, I suck at soccer, I will never be able to be good at soccer, I won't do this again. So that your brain is saying, okay, now we're depressed. And you will always be depressed about that now, and maybe that'll move on to being something else, and it's just a chain reaction of always being depressed. You have a pounding heart, maybe it's like you think you have done something exercising wise, and to be truthful, it's you've been on the couch the entire night. It's just that anxiety that you have affects your heart, and it's just making it pound more and more and more. That also connects with breathing problems, and you will not be able to breathe as easily. if you have anxiety. Then you have an upset stomach. You might think it's, oh, you ate something bad that day, but no, it's probably just your anxiety if it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Then you have extreme fatigue, like I said earlier. It's the headaches, but it also could be up towards a migraine. Treating stress. So before I get into this, I want to say a note saying stress is not a permanent issue. It will resolve, it's just a matter of when you want to. So treating stress, you can exercise, go out, have a run, or go on a bike ride, do something fun. You reduce your caffeine intake. I know I like coffee, so I cannot do that, but I know people can have caffeine in moderation, but it just depends on who you are. And then talk about what's stressing you out, or write it down if you don't feel like talking about it with some people. Spend time with friends and family. Learn to say no. So if like you're at work and a coworker asks you to do something and that specific thing is stressing you out, just say no next time, and it's like it'll be a lot easier. And don't procrastinate. So let's say you have an essay due like at the night before, and you're writing it like at 11:58 p.m. and it's due at 11:59. That stress will come up inside your brain and make you feel overwhelmed. It'll make your stomach upset. It'll just ruin your entire night. Listening to music, it just depends on who you are. Maybe soothing music isn't a good way for you, but maybe like country music or rap, just something to take your mind off what has been bothering you. And then I like this one most because I have 4 pets. I get to spend time with my pets, so that's always a big stress reliever for me. And treating anxiety is, again, you can exercise, pay attention to a sleep schedule. So say, put your phone down maybe an hour before you go to bed, go to bed at 9, wake up at 8, and then start your day. That was a good night's sleep, and try not to pick up your phone. If you need to worry about something, try to set a time to worry about it, to where you're just worrying about that. I know it sounds kind of weird, but it actually helps. Deep breathing helps, like meditation. Just keep your mind off of whatever's bothering you. And if it gets severe, you can have medication with it, or you can have therapy with it. Both of these do help and will work.